Okay, so this is the second video on creating a program about going to the fair. If you haven't seen the first video, I'll put a link in the comments below, and I'll also put it in the starter program. But what we did in the first video was we calculated this, where you found the total cost of going to the fair if you are given the inputs of how much it costs per ride and the number of rides. So we did the pseudocode, and then we actually built this program right here that we're going to use to go a step further. So you'll need to either watch that video or get the program from here. For my students, you are going to go into Google Classroom and you'll get a link to the starter thing, which will be going to the fair y equals mx plus b. You will see a button here called Remix. So you're going to push Remix, and that way you'll be able to edit this program and make it your own. You'll get a copy of it and be able to do it on your own. I'm just going to go see inside because it's my program. And I'll just make this a little bit bigger. And I'll remind you what we did in this program is we asked the question, what is the cost per ride? We took that answer and put it in for slope. Then we asked, how many rides did you go in? We put that answer in for the number of rides. And then we just had to multiply those two things to get an answer for total cost, and then spit out what the cost is for that situation. So let's just do a trial run here. So, oh, by the way, the beginning, the first few things here are just to reset everything back to 0. So it does that at the beginning, then it asks the question. So what is the cost per ride? Let's say it's $5 per ride. And we went on 10 rides, then we would see that 5 times 10 is $50 is the total cost that we spend at the fair. So that's great, but we're going to go a step further. So now we're going to add the entrance fee. So we're now going to add a challenge here about asking about what the entrance fee is. So you're going to not only just ask what the cost per ride is, but you're going to ask what the entrance fee is, because that's more realistic to the fair questions that we asked all year about y equals mx plus b. So what do we need to do to get that? So we're obviously going to need to ask a new question. And if you want to try this pseudocode on your own first, or think about it, or you can even edit the program on your own, but this video shows you how to do it. So we're going to have to ask, okay, after you ask what the cost per ride is, let's ask what the entrance fee is. You could ask that first if you wanted, the entrance fee. And then the number of rides. Then you'll go off and ask the number of rides. You'll have to edit the calculations, because now you're going to do the slope times the rides, but then you have to include the entrance fee, so you'll need to add that in there. And so if you haven't already, here's the new pseudocode that we'll need to do. We'll need to ask what the entrance fee is, and I'm going to call that y-intercept. I'm going to use the actual math term. You could call it fee or entrance, but we're going to use the y-intercept version, so that it matches our y equals mx plus b. And our calculation then is going to be the m times the x, whatever the number of rides is, plus your b, the y-int, the y-intercept. So that will replace our calculations, and then we'll spit out the information. So let's actually try and do that in our code. So here it is, and this link will get you the starter code. But let's, oh, sorry, no, this is the answer code. So let's actually go and do the answer together. So we've got the program. For starters, I'm going to change the name of this one to plus B, so it's going to include the entrance fee. And I'll just push save. All right, so I have to ask this new question. So remember, asking is these light blue guys under sensing. So ask, and I'll bring it out here, and I'm going to ask, what is the entrance fee? And the pseudocode had me asking it in here. I don't know, maybe we could ask it, let's stick with the pseudocode. You could ask it first, it doesn't matter. But I now have to put that information someplace. I need to have an answer there. So I'll pull out the answer guy just for a moment. But I need a new variable. And according to this, a new variable was going to be y_int for y-intercept. So I'm going to make a new variable called y_int. You could also say b for y equals mx plus b. That would be a good one. All right, so I'm going to pull this, and I'm going to put it after the what is the entrance fee, and I'll change it to the y_int. And the answer that I dragged out is now going to go here. And so I've got this new question there, and I've got a new variable, y_int. So and then we'll still ask how many rides you go on. We've got that variable. We've got to change this calculation. So I'm going to pull this calculation out. I'm going to pull this calculation out. And I have to add a entrance fee. I have to add that entrance fee. So I'm going to go back to operations, and I'm going to need to pull out the add. So I'm going to pull out this add. I'm going to make this bigger again so you can see it. So I have this, and I have that. So this is the first part, and the first part is going to have to go up here. I'm going to calculate the slope times the number of rides. So again, grab the middle, don't grab this. Grab the middle and be careful where you put it. Okay, remember you want to make sure it's highlighted. So I come at it from the side, you see it's highlighted. So there it is, and it's like it's in bracket. That's the mx plus, and then you've got your y-intercept or your b. So y-intercept, I'm going to drag that out and put it as a plus. So there's your slope times the rides plus your y-intercept. And I will now take all of this and put it back in for a total cost. Again, be careful how you grab this. If you grab that, you only grab the beginning. You need to grab the plus and then carefully put it up into the top. And everything else should be the same. So we should have here, I kind of anticipate one problem, but let's just run the program and see if you can see where the one thing we might want to edit our program. So let's go here. So I'm going to push go, and it's reset everything. So it says, what's the cost per ride? Let's stick with $5 per ride. What's the entrance fee? Okay, so now we're going to do the entrance fee. Let's say it's $20 to get in. Make it really expensive. And then how many rides did you go on? So the number of rides is 10. And that sounds right, because 5 times 10 is 50, plus your entrance fee of 20 gets you $70. So it looks like our calculations are all good. Now notice these all happen in the order that they appeared in the last program. So we can actually, on the screen, if you wanted, just drag these around so it will kind of do it in the order that we have. So that kind of works. Now, the thing I was kind of anticipating, and maybe you'll see it here, if we did another example. Look at it, reset everything except the y-intercept, because we didn't set the y-intercept back to 0. Because we had this new y-intercept, we're going to have to set that. So we're going to go now here and grab a set and just put it in, where would it go? I guess after slopes. It really doesn't matter. All of these, doesn't matter what order, but we're going to set the y-intercept equal to 0. And now if I run the program, that should go to 0. Yeah, it looks good. And we are going to do a test again. Let's do $2 per ride and $10 to get in, and I went in on 5 rides. So 2 times 10 is 10, plus another 10 to get in is $20, and the cost is 20. So that seems to be working. Okay, so this, we'll push save. This gets us as far as we really want to. There is some extensions you can do on this. So if you remember, we had this option of displaying the equation. So you could stop the video here and be pretty happy with the program you made. I'm going to go a step further and get it to display the equation. So that's going to be some stuff we're going to do here at the end. We're going to get it to say something else. oops, go to looks, and we're going to get to say something else. What are we going to get to say? Well, we're going to get to say the equation. So I'm going to make a sentence for this equation. So the equation is y equals mx plus b. So I'm going to start by saying y equals, maybe I'll put a space and a space, m. So that's the slope. So let's pull out slope. Okay, so y equals slope. And we need an x after that. So I need to take this and join it with another apple and banana. So that's going to be the start of my program. So I'm going to take that join and put it at the beginning. Y equals slope times x, right, mx. And then I'll put a space and plus, and then another space, and I need to put the y-intercept here, but of course if I put it in here, it's going to just replace that, and I don't want that, so Control Z. I have to take all this join and join it again with another apple and banana. So all of this is going to go in the beginning one. So look at it, it's a bunch of joins, but it's joining y equals m with x and plus, and then we're going to add the y-intercept, or the entrance fee. So I like that sentence. Let's see if it works. So I'm going to put this in for say, and let's see how that affects it, because I have him saying two different things, so I'm curious what it's going to look like. So let's run the program. So let's do the same thing. So $5 per ride. Let's say it's $20 to get in, and I went on 10 rides. So you see it missed saying this. Well, in fact, if you blinked, you might have, if you didn't blink, you might have saw it did say it, but then it said this right away. So we'd love it for it to say both. So there's a little trick we can do. But first, let's check our equation. Is that right? 5 times x plus 20. Yeah. So there's the equation. But we want it to say both. So the way we can do that is go back to looks. And instead of saying just say hello, let's pull out this say hello for 2 seconds. So instead of saying say hello, we're going to have it say this whole sentence. And let's get rid of this say hello. So we'll get rid of that. And so now it's going to say this for 2 seconds, and then it's going to say the equation. So let's see if that works. Cleared everything out, so that's good. So again, let's say it's $5 per ride, $20 to get in, and I went on 10 rides. The total cost is $70. Oh, and look at that. It switched and said the equation right here. Now, there's some even cooler things we could do. We could make a variable called equation. So, and then have it say the equation. That might be a neat idea because I want to make this even jazzier. So I'm going to go to variables, and I'm going to make a variable called EQN for equation. And then I'm going to set, let's do it right here. Let's set equation to this whole thing. So let's set equation to that whole thing. I'll just make that smaller. So I'm going to set the whole equation here. And so I'm just going to have it now say the equation. Now, it should look exactly the same, but I'll tell you why I did this in a second. So it should look pretty much the same. So I'm going to run this. Oh, but notice I've got this variable equation up that's popped up, which is neat. So let's say $5 per ride, $20 to get in. I went on 10 rides. Total cost is $70. There's the equation, and the equation popped up here. But now we can tell the reader what we're doing. So I could just add this in. I'm going to go operations again, and I'm going to join. I'm going to say, I'm going to tell the reader the equation is, and then put equation in here and put it up like that. So it wouldn't be that big long thing here. I've just replaced with equation, and now I can just say the equation is this. And so let's run the program. What is the cost per ride? It's $5 per ride, $20 to get in. I went on 10 rides. Total cost is 70, and the equation is y equals 5x plus 20. Now, you might say, hey, you know what, I don't like that, so maybe I'll change this to a little short form because get it all on one line. Let's see if that works. $20 to get in, 10 rides. Total cost is 70. Oh, yeah, look at that. The equation is y equal 5x plus 20. Okay, so we just sort of jazzed this up a little bit. We got the basic parts. We might have to set the equation to 0 again. Yeah, you see how the old equation is in there? So I'm going to stop and just add this up at the top here. Set the equation to 0 too, so that'll reset that part, and it should run the way I want. So there's a great program that's got lots of inputting happening. It's really nice and clean. It's got this resetting, and it's made some great sentences at the end. So again, if you save this, you can share it or go to the project page and copy the link, and you can share it or hand that in at Google Classroom. All right. Well, good luck and thanks for watching.